Well, hello everyone. Let me make sure this isn't going to have too much feedback. All right, I think we're good. I don't have anyone logged in on our live Zoom class, but I've gone ahead and started recording so that we are able to have this on YouTube. So I guess you're seeing this on YouTube. Welcome. I'm going to check this volume. It seems like I'm getting some feedback. I think that might be a little better. Okay. So, or maybe not. Let me try something here. Is that better? Yep, I think it is. There we go. All right, well, now we'll get started. I hope you had a chance to warm up, doing anything you like just to get your blood pumping. That can be walking, running, swimming, hiking, rowing, jump roping, just whatever you want to do to get your energy level up and your body warmed up. Just in case you haven't, we'll do just a couple minutes of movement to get everything moving before we stretch and then start our workout. Really simple stuff. I like to do 30 seconds jogging, 30 seconds jumping jacks, 30 seconds high knees, and 30 seconds squats. You can change that up to any kind of movement you want. This just keeps it easy. So let me start in just a few seconds, and I'll start with just a little jog in place. And starting right now. So 30 seconds just to get the blood pumping. And again, if you don't want to jog, you can walk or high knees or whatever you want to do. And that was 30 seconds. So what I say we're going to do next, we're going to do jumping jacks. So you can make big jumping jacks and have a little hop. Or again, if hopping and jumping is not what you need to be doing today, you can take this down to a low impact jumping jack, going side to side. That was about 30 seconds. Let's switch to those high knees. A little bit more. In these last 30 seconds, I'm just going to knock out some squats. Again, you can make this whatever set of 4 different movements, get your blood pumping, or if you've already warmed up with some other movement, that's fine too. If you need more than this, go ahead and hit pause and then do something to warm up and come back in. All right, that was 2 minutes of just a little bit of warm up, get our blood moving. Let's start to stretch a little bit. So we're still going to do some movement. I'm actually going to have us do some different squats. Let's start with our feet pretty close together, maybe even touching, and we'll do 5 really narrow squats. And just checking in with how this feels. You don't have to go to your full range of motion. Again, this is our warm up. Just kind of checking in, seeing how the body feels. And then after those 5, we can take it a little wider, about hips distance apart. And do 5 more. And then last set of 5 squats for our warm up. We'll take our feet out about shoulder distance apart, let the toes open up wider than the heels. Still trying to stay really upright for this squat. The seat drops down, but we keep our chest lifted. You could also do this with your hands on your hips if you don't want to have your hands in front of you. Just see if you can keep those shoulder blades back and the chest open. I think we have one more. All right, great. Let's do a little bit of a hamstring stretch, still kind of getting warmed up. So we'll do this as a movement rather than a hold. So reaching down towards your toes. If you don't reach all the way, that's fine. Just reach down as far as you can. And then coming back up, give it a big stretch. And we'll do a few of those. Hey, I got somebody joining me. Hey there.
I don't know how to turn it up.
I just turned it up. I just want you to fix it.
All right.
All right, come on, Princessita. Come on.
I'm going to mute you. There we go. Hi there, Kate. And then let's start with those side to side walks. So starting to warm up our hips a little, stepping side, touch, and then going the other way. And we'll just do that a few times. This is going to be really similar to Tuesday's workout. I just changed a few things here and there. All right, I think that's good for our side to side. And then let's warm up the hips a little bit more with rotation. So take the feet a little wider and rotate through the hips. And then whatever direction you were going, let's switch and go and do those rotations in the other direction. And coming back to the middle, we'll rotate the upper body now, letting our arms swing side to side. And final little warm up stretch. We'll take our feet a little closer together again, reach the arms up, interlace the fingers, point our fingers to the sky. Let's come into a side bend. Let's hold that and breathe here for a few breaths. Inhale back to the middle and exhale, let's come to the other side. Inhale, let's come back to the center and release. Again, if there's anything else you feel like you need to stretch up or warm out before we start our workout for real, go ahead and do that now. And then a lot like we did on Tuesday, we're going to start here. I'm going to move my instructions down so I can see them. We're going to start with 6 back lunges again, and then move on to 6 squats, 6 forward lunges, 6 squat pulses. And then we're going to do our lateral lunges. And then we're going to do, wait, hold on a second. I think I'm looking at Tuesdays. Let me go through. There we go. And then we'll do our, bear with me. I changed some things and it's not showing me what I changed. Maybe I changed it up here. Yes, I did. All right. So we'll do the squat pulses, and then we'll do curtsy lunges. That's a new one that we didn't do on Tuesday. And then lunge jumps. and then deadlifts, and then we're gonna do ski hops, and that's another one that's different. We'll do our planks, our side planks, and then we're gonna repeat all of that 3 times. So let's start with those back lunges. So again, for back lunges, we start and then we step backwards and lunge. We do alternating, and 1 on each side is considered 1. So we're gonna do 6 alternating. So stepping back, bending both knees, keeping the front knee over the ankle, back knee drops down as far as you're able to with your range of motion. You might go farther than me, you might go not quite as far as me. So listening to your body, and then step back. And then we do the other side. So step back, come into the lunge, and then step forward to standing again. And again, if you are feeling like you're a little off balance, feel free to have a wall or a chair or a table to help you stay steady. And I'm going to do 5 more of these. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do 1 more to each side. Perfect. And then we're going to do those squats. We can do these just with body weight, or again, if you have hand weights or the bands and you want to add to this a little resistance, you are welcome to. This time, I'm going to hold mine like a goblet squat. And we're going to come down, keep the chest lifted, lower the hips, squeeze the glutes, come all the way back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we change it up to those forward lunges. So starting at the other side of your mat and stepping forward, then dipping down into the lunge. Same thing, you want that alignment to be knee over ankle, and then step back to standing and switch sides. And that's 1. Two. 3. 4. 5. Last one of these for this round. And then we'll bring it back to the front, come back to those squats, but this time doing squat pulses. So once we come down to that first squat, we won't come all the way up. We're only going to come about halfway up, and then we're going to drop right down again. So lowering down, coming about halfway up, and then lower down again. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and press through the heels, come back up, shake that out a little. All right, and here's where we change things up a little bit from Tuesday. We're going to do a curtsy lunge. So starting about the middle, we're going to take my left foot, you can mirror me if you want, and step behind, and then bend that front knee and the back knees like you're coming into a little curtsy. And then back to the middle, and then we switch sides. So we're going to alternate. Back to the middle, and that's 1. You may not come down quite as far, that's fine. If you've not done these before, it takes a little getting used to. 2. 3. 4, 5, one more to each side. Perfect. All right, after those curtsy lunges, we're gonna come back into those lunge jumps that we did on Tuesday. And remember, you have other options. So if you don't want to come into something that's that plyometric hop, you can either repeat your forward lunges or your backward lunges. Or another alternative, you can do a little bit of both. You can step forward and back, and that's one on the right, and then forward and back, and that's one on the left. So you can mix this up if there's something else you want to do. I'm going to try to do these hops today, see how that feels for me. So I'm going to start with my right foot forward, my left foot back, and then I'm going to hop up and switch and sink down just a little bit into that lunge. And again, if you have a chair nearby, this can make it just a little steadier. Woo. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, last one, and 6. All right. We're gonna come into those deadlifts. So again, you can do deadlifts without any weight at all. If you want to use hand weights, you can hold these in your hands, or if you have resistance bands, you could put the resistance bands under both feet and then hold on to the other end with your hands. And what we do for the deadlift, regardless of which variation you're using, is we keep our back nice and flat, knees soft. We fold forward, our hands come right in front of our legs, like we're skimming our legs, and then press into the heels, squeeze the glutes, come back up to standing. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeezing the glutes, but try not to wrench your back. We want to keep the back nice and strong. And that was 6. So the next move we're going to do is a ski hop. If you don't want to do this plyometric move, but you want that side to side action, you can come back and repeat that curtsy lunge we just did. So curtsy lunge is one option. The other option is to add a little bit of a hop to it. So kind of looks like this. We come back like we did for the curtsy hop, then we hop over and switch sides. So we hop and then cut back, hop and cut back. So there's just a little hop and then hop, the other leg comes behind. So that's the ski hop. I've lost track. I think that was 3. 4, 5, and 6. And remember, if that doesn't feel right for you, repeat that curtsy lunge. You're still going to get a lot of strength in the glutes and in the hips. All right, we are almost done. We've got 30-second plank, 35-second side plank to each side. So remember, lots of options for plank. Pick the one that works for you. I'm going to stay on my forearms today. And let's start in about 5 seconds. And try to hold nice and firm for 30. Remember, you don't have to keep your knees lifted like I do if you want to do these from a knees down position. That is an excellent way to build strength. Just try to keep a straight line from knees to hips to shoulders, whether your knees are lifted or whether they're lowered. So either way, we have this straight line with the body. And all done. Give yourself a little stretch here. And then we're going to do those side planks. So again, there's different options for this. I'm gonna do a forearm side plank. I'm gonna have my feet stacked, but you could have the top foot in front or the top foot bent in front. And we're gonna use the strength on the obliques that are lowest to the ground, and we're gonna contract them and lift the hips and hold for 30 seconds. Two, one, and release. Let's take it to the other side. Getting yourself set up. And we'll start in just a couple seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's lift and hold for 30 seconds. Two, one, and release. Our first round is complete. Let's take 2 minutes. Get a drink of water, to stretch, to rest, to use the bathroom, whatever you need to do. And then we'll start the next round. We have another minute and then we'll get started. All right, 15 more seconds. We're gonna start with those back lunges again. All right, I'm gonna get in place. Go ahead and get ready. And then let's start with those back lunges. You know, at this time, I wanna use weights. Again, this is your option. This is just what I wanna do this time. So I'm gonna use my weights and step back one side and then the other. And that's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. And last one. Moving on to lunges. I'm sorry, moving on to squats. You can have your hands on your hips or in front of you. I'm going to use this weight like a goblet again. And let's do 6. Lowering down, keeping the shoulder blades back, chest lifted, pressing through the heels, coming all the way up. That's 4, 5, and 6. Excellent. Moving on to forward lunges. We'll do 6 of those. This time taking that step forward into the lunge and then stepping back, alternating sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, back to squats. This time just those pulses. So we're not coming all the way up, we're coming halfway up and then dropping right back down again. So dropping all the way down, coming halfway up, and then dropping down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This time coming all the way up. Excellent. So let's return to those curtsy lunges that we introduced ourselves to just a little bit ago. And remember, we're going to take a step back, bend both knees into a little curtsy, and come back to the middle. And then switch sides, bend both knees into that curtsy, and then back to the middle. There's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 more to each side, and 6. Great job. All right, let's bring it back to those lunge hops. Or if you want to keep it a low impact, you can do another alternative. So choosing what works best for you. I'm going to stick with those hops. I'm going to step my right foot forward and sink into my lunge, and then get a little bounce up and switch. Up and switch. That was 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm sweating. All right, and my heart rate is up. Let's do 6 deadlifts. Again, using the variation that works for you. I'm going to use the hand weights this time. Last time I demonstrated with the bands, so you can do either of those or with your own body weight. Feet are about hips distance, maybe a little wider, maybe closer to the shoulders. Nice and tall. And with soft knees, sliding the hands down the front of the legs, keeping a nice flat back, pressing into the heels, squeezing the glutes, drawing the shoulder blades down the back, nice open chest. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 2 more of these, 5, and last one. That was 6. And then back to that other new option. I'm going to move this chair. It was kind of in my way last time. So you can do the ski hops with me. If that doesn't feel right for you, feel free to repeat the curtsy lunges because it works a lot of the same places, but without that hop. So I'm going to free my hands here so that my hands can actually help with this. So coming back, hop, switch, whoop, maybe, and back. 2, 3, 4. You could also slow this down and take the hop out and put that little step in. See what I'm doing? Instead of that hop, it's a step and then back to the curtsy lunge. So if that works better for you, that's fine. I think that's 5. And I'm going to do one more hop and back to 6. All right. Let's knock those planks out and then we're done with this round. We get another break and then one last round. So prepping for whichever plank you're doing today, we'll start in about 5 seconds. And let's go. Five, 4, 3, you can do it. 2, 1, and let's take a little break, a little stretch. Side plank, 1 on each side. Again, you have lots of options here. I'm going to stick with the forearm plank. Let's start in about 5 more seconds, just so I have a nice round number for me to start with. 3, 2, 1, and lift. Halfway through on this side. See if you can crunch a little bit more in that oblique on the lower side. That's what keeps that hip lifted. And don't forget to breathe. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1. Let's come out of that and switch right over to the other side. Get yourself set up. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Remember, if you're watching this on the recorded, you have the power to pause whenever you need to. And that was it. That was 30 seconds. So if you ever need a break, feel free to take a break. We're all going to get a 2-minute break now. So feel free to do whatever you need to do for the next 2 minutes so that you're ready for this 3rd and final round. I'm going to do a little bit of stretching here in my chair. We are halfway through our little rest. So that means we have 1 minute left. And then we start up again. All right, we're gonna start again in 15 seconds. So if you need to get anything moved and ready, go ahead and get that done now. And remember, we're gonna start with those back lunges. So move somewhere in your space where you have enough room to step back. And that's it, it's our time to start. So let's go ahead. You know what, I'm gonna hold on to weights this time, just because I wanna add a little extra today. And step back. And switch. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Last one of these for the day. 6. Great job. We're going to move on to those squats. Remember, if you need a break between these, if you need more time to get ready, if you're watching this on the YouTube, you have the control. You can pause whenever you need to. I'm ready to go. So I'm going to move right on and do 6 full squats, all the way down, all the way up. 1, 2, 3, so you can keep those shoulder blades down your back so your chest stays lifted. 4, 5, and 6. Great job. We're going to do another round of lunges, this time moving from the back to the front and stepping back again. So forward lunges. So find a place in your space where you can make a big step forward and then come back. And we'll alternate. When we do 1 on each side, that's 1. Step and back, switch. Step and back, that's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. Great job. We're going to switch from lunges back to squats. This time coming back to those squat pulses. So we go down, then we only come halfway up, and then we drop right back down again. So not coming into that full extension until we've done all 6. So dropping down, halfway up, down, halfway up. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we get to press through the heels, come all the way up. Great job. Now we get to move on again to those curtsy lunges. Now each time I've shown this today, I've done that with just body weight, but this is another one that if you wanted to add weight, you could. So I'm going to do it again with my hands holding my weight like a goblet. But you don't have to. These are just options. So stepping back, bending both knees into a curtsy, and then returning to center. Switching sides, dipping down, back to center. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 1 more to each side. Great job. All right, so thinking about those lunge switches again. Again, you can do this with that plyometric hop, or if you want to do one of those other lunge variations and skip the hop, totally your choice. Not everyone's knees and hips like that. So do what feels best for you. I think I've got it today. We'll see what my knees say tomorrow. That's one. So you switch twice, that's one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost lost it there. All right. Another opportunity to add a hop if you want with these ski hops. Remember, you can come back to the curtsy lunge if that feels better, or if you want to kind of keep that same rhythm, you could do that extra little step instead of doing a hop for the ski hops. So let me see if I can get myself in the right frame of mind. We're going to do 6 of these. So step and step back, step and step back. So that's the non-plyometric version. I'm going to add that hop. I think that's 3 if you count all of them. 4, 5, and 6. Great job. We are done with all those lunges and squats. I think, yes. Oh no, I skipped deadlifts. We're gonna do the deadlifts now. I was like, I thought I was missing something. Let's put that deadlift back in there. All right, we don't want to miss that. These are too important. So again, any of those variations, body weight, weights, bands, nice and tall, let the chest be open. Knees are just a little bit soft so they're not locked out. And then we're going to hinge through the hips, slide the hands in front of the legs, nice flat back, squeeze the glutes, press through the heels, and open the chest. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, and last one, 6. Let's knock out those planks and then we can cool down. Great. Let's go ahead and get in position to start your plank. Let's start in about 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and begin. Pulling that belly button up and in towards the spine to keep the spine nice and long and to use those abdominal muscles instead of using our back muscles. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done with that plank. And we'll do one side plank on each side, 30 seconds each, and then we'll start to cool down. So let's start the next one in about 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and begin. Really thinking about using that core strength. So those abdominal muscles on the side, the obliques, to stay lifted up through the hip. 10 more seconds. Don't forget to breathe. 2, 1, and let it go. Let's flip right over and knock this last one out so we can get ready to cool down. We'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, and lift. Ten more seconds. You can do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Let yourself back down. Take a little break. Shake things out. We are going to move on to our cool down. So we'll start with that quad stretch. I'm going to stay right here on the floor to stretch my quad. Remember, there's lots of options that I've shown you before, if you prefer one of them. But I'm going to come down on one side. Both legs are extended, and then the top knee bends, and I reach back for that ankle or my foot so that I can stretch the front of my thigh. And that also gets a little stretch here in the chest and even the abs a little bit. Let's hold here for about 5 more seconds and then we'll switch to the other side. I think that's good. Let's let that go. And press up and over and switch sides. All right, I think that's good on both sides. Let's come back to that lunge and half monkey flow. So starting in a lunge, letting the front of the hip flexor open up, and then shifting the hips back as we straighten the front leg and lift the ball of the foot, and we can stretch the back of this leg. And again, this can be done as a hold, or you can flow. And I'm going to show an alternative for this. Not everyone likes having that knee down. So you could also do this standing up, where you stand in a lunge and then straighten the front leg and fold over it. So very similar movements, but this way you can avoid having your weight on your knee. So if this is a better option for you, or if you just want to do something different today for this stretch, feel free to try that. If you want to keep that back knee down and do what we did on Tuesday, feel free to continue doing that. That's a really great stretch. I just wanted to show that there are alternatives. And let's fold forward one more time and then come back up. And whichever variation we're in, we're going to switch. So you can either have that back knee down in a lunge and then come into that half monkey split, or you can come into this standing lunge and then fold over the front leg and straighten both legs. So it's a lunge. And then both legs straighten and fold over the front. Like I said, very, very similar. Just taking that pressure off the knee if that's something that you don't want to do today. Let's do one more. And then we'll come out of that. So let's do a calf stretch. So I'm going to come back to being seated for this. And we'll bend one leg and extend the other leg out in front. Sitting up nice and tall, facing the extended leg, we're going to start to fold over that leg, and your hands can come to the side of the leg or the top of the leg, or if you want to grab onto your toes, you can do that. If you like that sensation of pulling on the toe, but you can't quite reach, this is a nice time where you can take like a belt. It doesn't have to be a fancy belt. It could be like an old belt from a robe, or you could even use an old tie or something, just something that allows you to grab either end and just create a little bit of that tension. But when we do these workouts at home, I always like to have options that are things that we could just possibly have around the house just to help us work out. You don't have to buy a bunch of fancy equipment. Let's take a couple more breaths and then we'll switch sides. Coming back up. And then let's switch. The other leg extends. This knee bends. Same thing. Folding forward, trying to feel that stretch on the back of this extended leg, either using your hands or maybe even using an old tie or a belt or something. Let's take a couple more breaths before we release this one. And then we can let that go. And we'll come into that figure 4 stretch, and then we are almost done. So remember, you can do this figure 4 stretch seated and cross your ankle over your knee. You can do it lying on your back with your ankle over your knee. And then from here, if you wanted to bring your legs in closer to your chest, you could. You could even use your hands behind the thigh to pull that in a little closer. I like to actually bring my chest towards the thigh, so just the other way around. If you come into this variation, just be careful that you're not sort of collapsing and letting your back round. See if you can keep your shoulder blades back and your chest lifted, so that we still are nice and active in the upper body rather than collapsing into it. And then from here, let's switch sides. So whichever variation you're in, just come to the same thing on the other side. If you need to adjust, if it needs to be a little different on this side, that's okay. Most of us use one side of the body just a little bit different than the other. So sometimes when we move or stretch, it feels a little different on one side than the other. So that's perfectly normal. That also means that if one side's tighter, you might feel like you want to spend more time stretching on one side. So if I'm not holding long enough on one side for you, feel free to, like I said, take a break, spend a little more time on the side that you feel like needs more attention. Let's take one more breath. And then let's bring that ankle down. Come onto our seat, easy seated pose. For me, that's cross legs, but again, you don't have to sit like me. You could have your legs out in front. You could come into sort of a butterfly pose, whatever seated pose feels best in your body. Let's do a little side bend to finish up. So one hand comes down, the other one goes over. And just for fun, let's rotate the torso down towards that arm that's on the floor and then sort of sweep around in front and come to the other side and sweep back up. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Come over, hold that side bend, and then rotate. Oh, I got a little pop there. And then sweep across. And then come back up through the middle. Let's take a big breath together. Inhale and exhale. We are all through with this workout. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or concerns, anything you want to ask about, just let me know. I'm going to stop recording. I think I can figure out how. Here we go.